Hi, welcome to Outsmart Your Guitar. I'm glad you stopped by to see what we have to offer, which today is part 3 in a continuing series on slow blues in C minor. In part 1, you learned about how to be more precise in your note placement when playing rhythm parts. And in part 2, we applied this whole idea to soloing, how your note placement is equally as critical when soloing as when playing rhythm guitar. In part 3, we're going to continue with the soloing stuff, but we're going to expand, helping you understand the possibilities available to you to help you really create great solos. All right, let's go. But wait. Press that red button down there in the corner and you'll be subscribed to Outsmart Your Guitar. Ring the notification bell to be notified when new lessons are posted, which is around once a week. For an expanded version of this lesson, go on over to patreon.com, Outsmart Your Guitar, and subscribe at the Backstage Pass level. And you will be continuing to support our efforts to provide you with high quality lesson material to help you learn, play, and grow to be the guitar player you desire to be, to play the music you love, and maybe even write your own stuff. Pretty cool, eh? All right, let's get on with the lesson. One of the most important aspects in playing lead guitar solos is the removal of limitations. Limitations box you in. They prevent you from accessing the stuff you're striving to do because you lack the understanding and the knowledge. You've heard the phrase, knowledge is power, right? Well, knowledge helps remove limitations, and you have to be willing to do the work necessary to fully remove those limitations. In this lesson, I'm going to introduce you to an approach that helps you remove limitations. All right? So, the written material has vital information that helps you understand the process of how you apply this approach. Beyond that, I'm just going to be demonstrating. There's nothing written regarding the demonstrations. I'm just going to show you how it works. All right? So let's just get right to it and you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about as we go. In part 2 of this series, you learned a melody and you used the pentatonic minor scale as the framework to play that melody. We're in the key of C, right? And that's the first position. We used a little bit of the second position and a bit of the third position. And that's all that particular melody required to accomplish what we were trying to do. But there are 2 other positions to the scale as well. We have the fourth position, and the fourth position is also down here. And then there's the fifth position. And that's the 5 positions of the pentatonic minor scale in the key of C. So the first limitation you want to remove is your understanding, or lack thereof, of the pentatonic minor scale in all 5 positions. So you want to learn them. I have a series on the pentatonic minor scale. It's 24 parts. In the first 5 parts, you learn the 5 positions of the scale. In the next two parts, you learn transitions, how to move between the 5 positions. In the subsequent parts of the series, you learn 4 melodies, which help you understand how to use the pentatonic minor scale and how to transition between the 5 positions up and down the fretboard. Lesson 5 has a page in it, in the written material, that you want to download and print that shows all 5 positions on the fretboard so that you have a guide to help you learn them. It's in the key of G, so you'll learn G all the way up to the octave G to help you understand all 5 positions. I recommend you pause and go download that 5th lesson and then print the page with all 5 positions written out and showing their relationships to one another. All right, now that you have accessed that page with all 5 positions on it and spent a little time with it, here's the challenge. Change keys. You want to be able to play this scale in any key. So we're going to remove yet another limitation. These limitations are going to trip you up if you allow them to continue. This is time-based. It's going to take you a while to learn all 12 keys of the pentatonic minor scale to where you can play in any key reasonably fluidly. The cool thing here is that after you've done a few different key changes, it will actually begin to get a lot easier because you're reinforcing the order of the positions in how they occur. The pattern of each position as well will also be further reinforced so that you're learning the order of the patterns and which pattern is which, right? Because each position has a very specific pattern. So this is going to make it easier after the 3rd or 4th key change that you'll start to go, oh, okay, yeah, this is actually getting easier. All right? So that's what I want you to do. And then, just go ahead and give it a shot right here. Just change into a different key, say B flat, for example, and play around with B flat for a little while. And then when you're ready to continue, press play, and we'll keep going. All right, let's return to the progression for a moment. You'll notice right here to the right are the 4 chords of the progression, the C minor 7, the F minor 7, the G7, and the A flat 7. You'll also notice I have each chord's spelling, i.e. what are the notes of the chord. That's how it's spelled. So the C minor 7 is C, E flat, G, and B flat. The F minor 7 is F, A flat, C, and E flat. The G7 is G, B, D, and F. The A flat 7 is A flat, C, E flat, and G flat. So I want you to pause the video and look at the diagram. It's in the written material too. And see what notes are shared by some of the chords and what notes are unique to any given chord. This all matters. So we'll get to that in just a moment. So after you've studied it for a moment, restart the video. All right, you've looked at the chords. Now I want you to look at the C minor pentatonic scale. You've got C, E flat, F, G, and B flat. These are the 5 notes of the pentatonic minor scale, right? Now, let's look at the notes of the chords as well. Here you see all the notes of the chords, C, D, E flat, F, G flat, G, A flat, B flat, and B. Notice too the shaded notes shared by both the scale and the chord tones of the 4 chords. Some or all of the chords share notes of the scale itself. All right? So pause the video and study this for a moment. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to demonstrate playing strictly pentatonic minor scale over the top of this progression. So if it's the only scale you know, you can make it work over this progression. You just have to be a little careful in your note choices in some spots, but it will work if you do that. Here we go. All right, there you have it. The pentatonic minor scale played over the progression. And as you can see, for the most part, it worked fairly well. Okay? Now, what we want to do is start knocking down those limitations, and we're going to do this incrementally so that you are able to come along for the ride. All right? Let's keep going. What I want to introduce to you now is something you probably already know, and it's the blues scale. Basically, what you're looking at is the pentatonic minor scale with an extra note added, and it's called the blue note. Some people call it the sharp 4, the sharp 11, or the flat 5. It exists here, right here, between the 4 and the 5 tone. All right. Here it is laid out in tablature just for fun, right? Whoops. Pretty straightforward stuff until you start having to work in other parts of the fretboard. So, limitations. But what I want you to do is I want you to look in the written material, and you'll see I have provided you with a graphic of all 5 positions of the blues scale, highlighting the blue note in red. Or if you're printing it out on a black and white machine, it's gray. So, pause the video and take a look at that page and play through it. See how you do. All right? And then when you're ready to continue, press play. All right, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play the blues scale. But I'm not going to just play the blues scale. What I'm going to do is play the pentatonic minor scale and add in the blue note when and where I think it should belong. All right, so let's give that a shot. Did you notice how adding just one note, the blue note, during the G7 and A flat 7 part of the progression changed the whole character of the solo, that it actually fit and sounded better? Just one note. Knocking down a limitation with just one note added to what you play. So here's what I want you to do. Pause the video, pull out the page with the blues scale in all 5 positions. And if you've got a black and white printer, just highlight where the blue note is with a yellow marker or something, just to further reinforce, here's where it is. And play the pentatonic minor scale in all 5 positions over the progression, and add that blue note in where you think it sounds good. Or figure out how to put it in there so it sounds good, right? That's the whole idea. Knock down those limitations, one note at a time, all right? Okay, and then when you're ready to continue, go ahead and press play. We're just getting started. What we're going to do now is add 2 more chord tones to the scale. We're going to add a D, and we're going to add an A flat. So you've got it at 10 on the 6th string, that's a D, and you had 11 on the 5th string, that's an A flat. Then you've got over here on the 3rd string at 7, another D, and then at 9 on the 2nd string, an A flat. And then over here on the 10th fret of the 1st string, another D. So you've got 5 occurrences of these 2 notes in total. Okay, so basically you just run it. Just kind of hesitate on those notes before you play it straight. Work it out mechanically. So pause the video, work it out, get it right, get it flowing, all right? Now, what's going on here? Well, by adding the D and the A flat, what we're doing is altering the pentatonic minor scale into another scale. And that scale is called the pure minor scale, or the Aeolian mode. You've heard of these, no doubt. The Aeolian mode is one of the 7 fundamental modes. Okay, so very nice, minor sounding, very rich sounding scale because of those added 2 notes. So let's look at it in the tablature. To some people, tablature is just more easily read, so I include both forms here. But you just basically run through it. The circled notes are the D and the A flat notes. So you just go through it. Now I just go to there, but you got those notes as well. And this is the first position, of course. So pause the video, run this, and then go to the written material, and you will see that I have plotted out for you the Aeolian mode in all 5 positions, highlighting the D and the A flat. So you're seeing the pentatonic framework in the black dots, and then the Aeolian elements in red. And so go ahead and learn this up the fretboard, but don't forget to work behind the fretboard. You've got the 13/1, right? Well, that means it's playable here as well as here. You see 15/2, that's playable here at the 3rd fret as well as the 15th fret, and that's what those numbers mean in case you forgot. Okay, so pause the video, take 10 minutes or so, and go over that diagram and really examine the different positions and how they work and how they're going to help you to expand your abilities, removing limitations. When you're ready to continue, press play, and we will do just that. What I'm going to do now is play pentatonic minor with the added Aeolian color tones. So I'm using the pentatonic minor as the framework and dropping those Aeolian tones, the D and the A flat, where I think they should be played. All right, so let's go. All right, I hope you're beginning to understand the concepts we're putting forth here about removing limitations. Here, we're taking chord tones from the progression and injecting them into the pentatonic minor scale as additional notes. These additional notes help you be more expressive because you have more information you can use, more sounds you can inject into your solo to help create the mood and the feeling that you're trying to convey. The more you have available to you to use, the more able you're going to be to express that feeling or that emotion or that mood in the music. So here's what you do. Pause the video and spend 20 minutes using the Aeolian mode 5-position chart and looking at it as though it's the pentatonic minor scale with those red color tones, the D and the A flat, shown all over so that you know where they exist within each position of the pentatonic minor scale. You can look at it like that. And then sit and play and really dig into learning how to use these notes in all 5 positions of the scale to expand what you can play, removing more limitations. All right? And when you're ready to continue, press play. All right, I think that'll do for this lesson because I've given you quite a lot to chew on. And that is the point, because you need to understand how this works, what professional guitar players do that you don't do to play those solos that they're playing, that you want to play. Well, this is the key. Use the notes of the chords as part of the pentatonic minor scale framework. And knowing that, like, for example, the Aeolian mode is just the pentatonic minor scale with 2 additional notes, that helps you because now you know another scale too. So learning other scales is also very beneficial. And you can look at it as a pentatonic minor with some extra notes added in. It's all based on perception. But the whole idea here is this is all for minor bass stuff, of course. Now for major bass stuff, that's a little bit different situation, but the principle remains the same. If you use chord tones, you're going to find these other scales and you'll be able to use them and take advantage of those notes that are in those scales and how they apply over the progression you're playing, right? And then don't forget the other axiom. There's no such thing as a bad note. It's just not in the right place. Okay? All right. So again, take your time here. Don't be in a rush to move forward. This is a dense lesson, I know. And take the time you take. It's going to take a few weeks for this to really sink in. But if you do it a little bit every day, within a couple of weeks, a month even, it's going to sink in. So here's a challenge. Today, play and record yourself playing over the progression using this scale, the Aeolian mode for this example. Do that today. Then save it, put it aside. In 1 month, after playing every day that you practice this stuff in the Aeolian mode, playing over this progression, play over this progression for 1 month, really getting all 5 positions of the scale down. Then record yourself again playing over the progression. Then listen to them back to back. And you tell me if you didn't improve and get a better understanding by the practice of this and putting it into play, right? I guarantee if you do the work, you will hear a remarkable difference between what you record today and what you record 30 days from now. All right? So call it the 30-day challenge. All right. When you're ready to keep going, there's always more. We'll see you then.